Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. And we got a great show planned for you tonight. Hour two, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They're the official optimization software of Computer America. I got a lot of exciting things coming up, and it's been a crazy kind of day, but we're just glad that you're here with us. And let's see what else. Of course, in the first hour, we're going to have the CEO of TrueLink Financial, Kai Stinchcomb, is here. He is going to be talking about their TrueLink prepaid Visa card and the differences.
1 minute
and how,
until showtime.
How it protects you, me, and seniors all over the world and avoid some of the pitfalls of identity theft and all those nasty things that go out there. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting in less than a minute. $15 seconds.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4,
Craig Crossman.
3, 2, 1.
It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And I don't know what's going on here. I think
your timer's wrong.
Time is right. Yeah, but you know, I have it set up here. I have it in the proper time zone. I'm just checking the clock now. And
you know what it might be?
What?
Daylight savings time is this Sunday, so you know it could be kind of incrementally increasing as you get closer to the day.
It could be. Let me see. Time setting for your computer has changed. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, but the point is, it's still 10 o'clock. Right now, it's 10:07.
It was a joke. It's a glitch.
It's a glitch.
Let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going. We'll figure it out as time goes by. It's been a glitchy kind of day today. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, welcome into the Computer America Show. And we have a great show planned for you in hour two, Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And so, did you have an interesting day, Ben? I always like to start off.
Nope. Classes, all good. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing? Okay, all right. Well, there's a movie coming out that I want to see. Well, what's next week? That's Interstellar. This Friday, nothing that I want to see that's coming up. I did see that preview though of the Avengers, the Age of Ultron. That looks very good. Did you see
that's the second Avengers, and the voice and like the effects that they used on Ultron, you know, the bad guy, are really impressive. Like he actually sounds like he doesn't sound over the top cartoonish, but he sounds really menacing.
Yeah, he looks menacing too. They really get that. Although I like the scene where they were all trying to pick up Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
They couldn't do
that seems to be like a recurring joke.
Well,
that everyone, you know.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, Ben hasn't had anything to say other than he had a nice day at school. And what did you learn? What did we learn today in school, Ben? How about that?
How to assign values to arrays and recall them throughout your program.
Okay. How about assigning a value to a variable?
That's long been done.
No, I know, but maybe they taught that in school. Anyway, uh,
What'd you learn in school today, Mister?
well, listen. I graduated school a long time ago.
And everything you know is useless.
Pretty much, except how to run a nationally syndicated radio talk show.
Ah,
Okay. All right. Well, that said, let's get to our first hour guest. And before we do that, let me just tell you how to get in touch with us. If you have a question for our guest or want to interact with us, please give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. We have email set up when we're live and on the air. It's live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. See how clever that address is? Got the live worked in there. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room from our homepage at computeramerica.com. You'll see right there in the middle of it says Interact with the Show. There's a button there that says Chat and Live Video. You click that and you'll see two boxes there. On the left-hand side it says Connect to Freenode IRC. That's our chat room. The first place is to put in a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go into the chat room. And then beneath that, there's a box that says it's asking for a captcha code. And it's either a number or a couple of words. That just authenticates the fact that you're a live human being and not an internet bot of some sort, that you're a real person. So then when you enter that in, just click the Connect button, and your browser will move you right into our Computer America chat room. A lot of people in there right now, and we certainly welcome you to interact with us. If you are doing it on a more regular basis, we offer another button beneath the chat room, which is for our IRC clients. That takes you to our free software page, and on the bottom there, you'll see a number of them. They're plugins for different browsers and different platforms, and select which one that works best for you. It'll put that little plugin, and then the chat room will be more visually pleasing. It'll put it in its own window and colorize some of the text, and so it just makes it for a more pleasant chat room experience. But you don't need to do it. It's completely optional. And then on the other side of that same chat room and live video page is our live Computer America video streaming page. And here you can watch both myself and Ben. Sometimes you can watch the guests, not all the time, but we do have them on from time to time. And so we welcome you to join us on our live Computer America video streaming page. So that's basically how you interact with us here on Computer America. So that said, let's get started. Our guest this hour is from TrueLink Financial. Now, their TrueLink prepaid Visa card, you say, oh, it's just another credit card. No, it's not. It helps you safeguard your loved ones from scams and unwanted charges without taking away their financial independence. Really, now the TrueLink prepaid Visa card works like a regular Visa card. What's different is that you can prevent purchases at specific stores and types of merchandise using a personalized fraud blocker. We're going to find out more about this. Plus, it alerts you immediately if any suspicious charges do occur. So if you need help resolving these charges, their free customer service is on your side. Okay, that's nice to know. Not on the bank side or the merchant side. It's on your side, the consumer. It takes less than 5 minutes to sign up for a TrueLink account and order the TrueLink Visa card for your loved ones. Now, here to explain how it all works is Kai Stinchcomb. Kai is the CEO of TrueLink Financial. Kai, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, let me ask you this, and I want you to talk more about this TrueLink prepaid Visa card. But who are you targeting with this card? Are you targeting children? Are you targeting senior citizens? Are you targeting, just the average person? What's your target market for this card?
It's primarily seniors and their families. Typically, as seniors age, there are a set of changes that happen where you become more trusting. For example, you become less suspicious of certain types of fraud, and it makes you vulnerable. And there's a whole industry of preying on these seniors, and so that's how we help the family member kind of take control of the situation if you are the family member of a vulnerable senior.
My experience is that the older you get, the more the more suspicious you get, but maybe not. I mean, maybe that's just
we call it friendly grandma syndrome.
Friendly grandma syndrome. Okay. All right. So are you saying that this is because seniors are not technologically savvy, or is that unfair, really? I mean, to have a I think when you make a blanket statement about any demographic, it's not really.
Are you saying that all blanket statements are false?
Yes, all blanket statements are false.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. So, you tell me, how technologically savvy are seniors, Kai?
As always, it's a mix. The thing that we're finding actually is that seniors are increasingly technologically savvy, which means that some of the frauds are moving online, actually. So it used to be that you would get telemarketing, for example, or that somebody would, to sell you stuff that you don't need, or that they would call you and convince you to wire money to Nigeria, and now it's the emails to get you to wire to Nigeria, or click ads that are about ways to lose weight or work from home. And so, actually they're targeting seniors online now as much as they're targeting them offline.
Now, one thing to consider, and that is, let's say in the 80s, that's when really computing started to come into their own, the 80s, early 90s. So the age of the people, maybe, they were in their 30s, 40s then, are themselves seniors, but they grew up in a technologically, I don't necessarily savvy, but they certainly are aware of the technology. Is it, as time marches on, that the seniors are basically the younger people now becoming older, but they're still very familiar with technology? As years go on, isn't that going to continue to happen?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a new frontier, right? And so, for example, it used to be that phones were a lot more kind of safe than they are now, right? So, for example, the Nigeria scams by phone, they didn't exist because calling from Nigeria was so expensive.
Yes.
You just couldn't call a bunch of seniors from a phone number in Nigeria and get them to wire money to you, let alone they'd have to go into their bank branch to wire money abroad. And I think, similarly, or junk mail, you used to basically, if you got it in the mail, you could kind of trust what it said. And now there's all of these sort of fake sweepstakes and stuff that you get junk mail about. And so I think it's true that computers were, a different thing 30 years ago than they are now. And people that got used to them 30 years ago, where the concern was maybe a virus rather than spyware or spam email or, weird phishing attacks.
Right, exactly. Well, Ben, you tried to answer that email that someone wanted you to send money to Nigeria the other day. You were saying.
I've always wanted to, but I've actually fallen for some of those scams. Although the one thing that you'll notice is if you do respond to them, I didn't exactly fall for the obvious. I'm a Nigerian prince and it's locked up and I need $25,000 to get it unlocked. I didn't fall for something that simple, but if you ask enough questions, eventually they start talking themselves in circles, and you can kind of point it out that way. But I mean, even myself, who is admittedly somewhat tech savvy, I have fallen for things over the phone. I have fallen for things, via email. Even I've fallen for these. It happens to everyone, not just the elderly or the non-technically inclined.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. So, are you saying? I mean, how vulnerable are seniors today to these online scams?
It depends on your age. It's an interesting thing. You think of it as something associated with loss of memory or other sorts of vulnerability. Actually, as a senior, the younger you are, the more likely you are to be scammed. That's an interesting fact.
Well, because the seniors have been around. They've been around more. They're more savvy, I would think. I mean, they've lived life. They've experienced stuff. That maybe the younger people haven't done that.
Yeah, and I think it's it's almost like a larger attack surface, right? That if you're 60 years old, you might be on a dating site, right? You might be going to the casino, you might have a job, or you might be retired but thinking about doing some working from home. You might be you're just exposed to a ton more. And as you're making more financial decisions for yourself, there's just more ways to slip up. I think that's true of the internet also, right? That the way you get scammed online is just you're blazing through stuff and you don't notice the fine print. There's some checkbox that says, you're signing up for ESPN.com, and it says, do you want ESPN magazine also? And you forget to uncheck it, and then it arrives, and you've been charged $10 for it, and you didn't want to.
Right, or they'll have these free antivirus products or anti-malware products, but it'll default to being checked. You want the plus version, which costs money, and you have to make sure that you uncheck it, So that's a specific. Why don't you talk a little bit about some of the specific scams and tactics that crooks use to take advantage of seniors?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things, right? One is there's often something around something going on in the news. So, for example, when the new Healthcare Act was passed, there was a whole bunch of stuff around, now that Obamacare is in effect, you need to re-register for Medicare or Medicaid. So please, read the number off the front of your Medicare card. And you say, oh yeah, I read about that in the news that there's new. The number on the front of your Medicare card is your Social Security number. Oh. And you've probably read it off before you realize, what am I doing reading this off? Around the Stimulus Act, there was a similar thing. It was claim your chunk of the stimulus. You have to go to this website, enter your Social Security number again, or maybe you have to pay a deposit. The two big ones we're seeing now are immigration, right? That there's all this stuff in the news about immigration, and people are saying, hey, there's this new legal status. You have to pay a registration fee in order to, get temporary legal status or deferred prosecution or whatever. And then there's also Ebola stuff going on now in the,
Really?
in the world of scams, where they're saying, either there's some new vaccine or some new drug, or sometimes it'll be a fake charity that is trying to help people with Ebola. And you're starting to see that on online dating sites. Actually, we had a customer who we protected him from the charge, but he was he had met a new girlfriend, and then all of a sudden she needed money because the area she was in was being affected by Ebola, and she needed to get out. And he was like, why can't I send money to this woman? We're like, that's actually she's not actually your girlfriend. That's not really what it seems like. And he's like, oh my goodness, yeah, you're totally right.
Wow.
It actually, I remember, charity tends to be like one of the big ones. I mean, Katrina, there was a big thing going on during the tsunami, especially the tsunami over, in Japan and Taiwan and things like that. Places that were overseas and people really didn't know who to give to, and there were charities popping up left and right that sounded legit. But I mean, all you have to do is slap a name on a website and put some program in there to accept payments, and you can claim anything you want.
Yeah, we see a lot of lookalike charities also, where somebody who's always given to the Patrolmen's Benevolent Union might suddenly be approached by the Patrolmen's Benefit Union. Stuff like that. And the story is really that the other thing, so there's stuff that's always in the news, but the other thing is that they're taking advantage of the thing that's best about this senior, right? So it's somebody who's generous, who's open-hearted, and that's why they're being hit up for a charitable contribution, right? It's somebody who cares about their family, and so that's why they're being hit up to the call that says that your son is in trouble and you need to bail him out of jail or send emergency money abroad. But they're taking advantage of the best in people.
Really? Okay. Well, that got a little chuckle out of me. I mean, your son is in jail in a prison. European prison. You need to bail him out. That can be that can be unnerving.
Yeah. There are some really good ones. This is super relevant because what they'll do is they will make friends with a teenager on Facebook, and they'll watch their statuses. And when the person is gone for spring break, they'll have a couple details, right? And so they will call the person's grandparent, who might be listed on Facebook also, and they'll say, hey, this is one of the camp counselors for Jimmy's, summer camp trip. Listen, we can't get in touch with his parents, and maybe they know the parents' names because they're on Facebook also. We can't get in touch with Sandy and, Fred, and so, we're calling you because we need $300 because there's some weird immigration thing. They have him locked up, and, we got to get him out of the country.
Well, there's certainly
It's really sophisticated. You get that call at 2 in the morning. You know, you're not even thinking straight.
yeah, exactly. Well, there's a lot of scams going on out there. Are there other ways seniors end up losing money online aside from outright scams? You know, like maybe online shopping, for example.
Yeah, you know, this is something that so we touched on it when we were talking about the sort of the extra checkbox that you forgot to uncheck, or the thing that automatically involved you in Pro. There's a lot of these things where, you know, it's designed to sort of it tries to sell you one thing and then you end up buying another that's a lot more expensive, or you don't realize that it's a subscription. And it ends up being, you know, sort of, especially around memory loss. If somebody has a little bit of memory loss, they can end up spending thousands of dollars online. And it's not like they were defrauded. It's just they were sort of entrapped almost. It's entrapment, where they're put into a situation where they're making a bad decision that they wouldn't have made otherwise.
And as you can, they can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars that way. That obviously some, you know, some protections are needed, and we're going to get into a little bit about the what TrueLink does. But let me ask you this: what are some signs that adult children should look for to determine if their elderly parents are losing money?
You know, that's a great question. The first thing is whether there's money gone, right? And that's sort of the obvious one, is if you can check on their online banking and monitor it, you know, then you can tell if there's a problem. And that's really, you know, the thing that you want is that 360-degree view of the family's finances. But it's a tough conversation. People put off having that conversation because nobody wants to talk about money, and because nobody wants to talk about aging. And so that conversation that's about money and aging both, it's like, let's save that as long as possible. And if you have it early, it doesn't need to be, you know, it doesn't need to be that bad, right? You know, that if they were a couple, you know, probably they shared their financial information, and it's just, hey, you know, there should be a couple sets of eyes on the road always, no matter who you are or how old you are. So that's one thing. But then there's also watching for their, you know, their behavior. Do they have new friends? Sometimes new friends are, you know, if they have a relationship that seems, you know, that they're a caregiver, if you have a paid caregiver for them, that seems suddenly like they're trying to be friends rather than a paid caregiver, or the same with the bookkeeper, for example. If you see a family member that's getting, you know, maybe moving closer and seems to be behaving in a controlling way toward their parents or to an elderly relative, that's something to watch out for. And then there's, you know, just watching how they're spending their money. You know, so if they're saying that they can't afford stuff, they're dropping clues in conversation, or sometimes you'll actually get a call from a bill collector, and in a lot of cases, that's the first thing our customers ended up hearing that made them aware of the problem, was that somebody called and said, hey, you know, do you know how we can contact this person? There's an unpaid bill.
Wow. But, you know, there's also that resistance from people who are kind of reluctant to turn over their financial information to their children, you know, or to family members.
Because, come on, Greg. It'll be fine.
You're never getting it. So, I mean, isn't it? I mean, it's like it's one of the many measurements we have of independence. I mean, it's like when you take away a person's driver's license, that's crippling, you know, to the average to a person. I mean.
Right.
Although it's not quite, I don't think it's as bad as with money. Still, I mean, to take away that, or I don't know necessarily if you're taking it away, but I think any movement toward, oh, hey, mom, dad, let's, you know, let me look at your bank statements and let me handle it for you. You know, I think can meet with some resistance. At least that I would think.
Oh yeah. You know, I'm glad you mentioned the driver's license, because, you know, it really is a great analogy, actually, that you know, you think about a car. You know, you push down the gas pedal and it'll go the direction it's pointed as fast as it can, right?
Yeah.
The same thing is true with a checkbook, right? You sign, you write in a number, however big that number is. If you have that much money, it's gone. And so if you have a vision impairment, you know, driving becomes unsafe, right? And I think often there are similar forms of impairment that can make a checkbook unsafe. But the point is, you're not actually taking away the checkbook. The point of this information is that it's a safety feature. So it's not like you're trying to take away the car keys or the driver's license. It's about putting in airbags, right? What you want is a situation where you have extra safety features. And if I said, hey, you should have a car with airbags, I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm not saying you're a bad driver. I'm not trying to control where you take your car, right? It's the same as, antivirus on your computer doesn't tell you which software to run, or a home security system doesn't tell you who to let into your home. Email filters don't tell you who you can and can't email. It's just a safety feature so that if you are making a mistake, you don't have to suffer the consequences.
All right, and that kind of leads us into what you're doing over at TrueLink Financial, and with your TrueLink prepaid Visa card, and the purpose of this again is to help people, maybe adult children, to protecting their elderly parents from losing money, or the seniors themselves who are maybe susceptible to this. How does this TrueLink prepaid Visa card help you to safeguard your loved ones from scams and wanted changes? How do they do that? Without taking away their financial independence. It's important to mention that.
Yeah, exactly. So if you are in that situation of vulnerability, or you're having trouble managing money, or you're being taken in, maybe you've had an example of this. The thing that we do is allow you to configure a credit card, a Visa card. So you're putting this card in your parents' hands instead of their traditional Visa card, and that card will pay for anything, right? So if you are getting scammed on the phone, if you are buying telemarketing stuff with hidden charges, if you are, getting talked out of your life savings by one telemarketer after another, we can prevent those dollars from going out the door, and we just block the charges. And so the point is, it's like airbags in that you can spend the money on the things you need without it going to waste and losing your financial independence because you've spent too much money. Does that make sense? I don't know if I said that well.
Yeah, you did, but I mean, how do you go about doing that? I mean, I've got this TrueLink prepaid Visa card, okay, and I'm going to go online, and I'm going to go to Amazon, and I'm going to purchase, I don't know, some clothing or something, whatever that's something I need, or maybe a DVD or something, and how is it any different than using a standard Visa card?
So the point is, we set up individual configurations for each person.
Okay.
And it's very easy actually to configure, because the problems that we see, every case is different, but we've seen a lot of stuff. And so maybe you have a telemarketing problem, right? And there's just a checkbox that says no purchases for telemarketers allowed. And then in that case, we stop all telemarketing calls from resulting in a financial loss.
Yeah, but
or maybe you say
no
charitable contributions over $25. Go ahead.
Yeah, but what let's say a mom likes to go online, and purchase things from QVC or likes to do that, and now I'm saying, okay, we're going to use this card, and she tries to make a purchase and says, sorry, we can't do that.
Is this something that you want to come in like retroactively, or because I would assume just going to someone who hasn't made any mistakes in the past and saying, hey, we're going to start monitoring what you're not monitoring, but limiting what you can do. I mean, or is this something that you kind of come in after the fact, after things have happened?
So it's a mix. The point is it's fully custom, right? So there's a way to configure it for every need. For some people, it's really just send a text message for every purchase over $1,000. You are fully in control of your finances, and it's just if there's a lot of money suddenly going out the door, everybody should know what it is. Maybe it was your card number was stolen and you want to know about it right away. Maybe it's just it was time to get new hearing aids, but you just kind of want multiple sets of eyes. Down to a situation where this is the situation that my grandmother was in, where she had just kind of lost track of her charitable giving. She was over the course of her life, she was a charitable person, but she would give $50 a month to charity. She's a retired school teacher. And as she started to experience memory loss, she started giving away $50 a day to charity just because she didn't remember that she'd given it away yesterday. And that was just much more money than she had. And so, the point was that we wanted to restrict the amount of money that was being given away to charities so that she could still have her money to spend on the things she wanted.
Okay, and that makes sense. I mean, I certainly can see how that would work. But that's a specific, weakness, I guess, with grandma. But what if grandma, doesn't necessarily have any weaknesses, and she's, seems to be fairly financially cognizant? She could still use the card and just have those mechanisms in place if you ever need to do them?
Yeah. So in other words, you could set it up so that it's just, so that it's the lightest touch possible. Maybe it's just block things that are frequently reported as scams.
Right. Okay.
So in other words, it's not a heavy-handed restriction.
Right.
And that works also. So the point is, we're not trying to play judge and jury. We're not trying to tell you what your mom should be spending her money on or not. The point is, if you have a situation where you'd like to know more about what the money is going toward,
sure,
then we can offer you that tool.
All right.
And it might be just more information, or it might be, heavier-handed controls.
All right. I'll tell you what. We're at the bottom of the hour break here, Kai, and we're going to take a break. But when we come back, I want to ask you, can you use the TrueLink card, let's say, for other people, like, kids, or for allowances, that type of thing? And we'll get on to that when we come back. Okay. This is the Computer America Show.
Forward.
Yeah, this is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. TrueLink Financial is here. Kai Stitchcomb is here. He's the CEO of TrueLink Financial. We're talking about the TrueLink card. We'll be right back with him. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth
removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No Hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Good evening. This is Mark Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the TechSling technology holsters. Now, how do you carry your gear? Is it in a backpack or your pockets, messenger bag, or a purse, or a MERS? We got an alternative, the TechSling. It puts fairly flat, padded pouches on either side of your torso using a strap arrangement that we're pretty sure originated with shoulder holsters. For people who need tablets and handsets and other paraphernalia always with them, which, for example, isn't unusual in patient care, law enforcement, or other professions. It's a handy and unobtrusive way to tote it all. It also makes sense for travel. Now, they sent two. The standard TechSling is water repellent. Water can still get inside, just not through the sides. And it's big enough to hold a full-size iPad, for example. They also sent the TechSling Sport. Not water repellent, but instead breathable and able to fit slightly larger tablets and gear. So bottom line, TechSling and TechSling Sport body-side holsters give you both protection and quick draw access to your gear. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that. 33 minutes past the hour, and we are here with Kai here from TrueLink Financial, and we're talking all about this this card that lets you kind of put preferences on spending and actually one of the great features that you kind of just mentioned there at the very end was if you don't want to have any immediate restrictions, you can always have restrictions on things like that are frequently seen as scams, because even if they're very careful, they're still very aware of themselves. No one is safe from scammers. You can't always screen 100% of them out. So having just that second line of protection, really helps. So we have a question here. Could this card be used for other people, such as children, for their allowances? Because children can suffer from the same thing. Admittedly, they're not 18, so they can't order what they see off TV. But it's they can still see something and do the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Far be it from me to tell people don't use my product. But the thing that we found is that if you have a teenager and they're making financial mistakes, basically you want to do the parenting. Right, and so you probably just want to set a low credit limit, or get any other prepaid card, and then just kind of review the statements from time to time and tell your teenager, hey, look, I saw you spent your money on this. Doesn't look like you managed your money that well because you spent it all at the start of the month and now you don't have as much anymore. Mm-hmm. Whereas, if your mom has that problem, you actually don't want to do that parenting. You don't want to be calling her every day saying, hey, it looks like you're giving money to charity that you don't have and you're not going to be able to afford your groceries. And she says, oh gosh, I don't remember doing that. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a whole different case.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the point is, we really did design it just for seniors, okay. And if you want it for a teenager, by all means, go ahead. But
let me ask you.
But we really, the point is, seniors are just different from anybody else, and there's a unique set of challenges.
And you're certainly addressing them. Now you're calling this the TrueLink prepaid Visa card, so that means it's sort of like, is it like a debit card, or if not, I'm trying to, or is
exactly.
What is it like? It's like a debit card.
Yeah. So in other words, it's not a credit card. There's no loan. There's no interest, and yet it's not tied directly to your bank account. And so, the thing is, you often don't want the debit card that just can empty out your bank account entirely. So the point is, you might set it up to move $1,000 out of the checking account on the first of every month, and then that's the limit of how much it can spend.
I see. It's becoming much more clear now, and I can see definitely how that would work. So and also it gives you a lot more flexibility in controlling how the money is being spent. I mean, you've put these mechanisms into which you really can't do with a debit card. I mean, debit card is a debit card. You spend it all, and that's it, and nobody tells you can't do that.
Exactly.
It's still like a debit card, but there are things you can do with it to, and I don't even think with my with a debit card even alert. I know with a credit card, when someone it gets flagged. I remember one time I went to a store which I had never really frequented before, and I went and made a purchase, and my phone rang, and it was the credit card company. Says, Mr. Crossman, we have a notification that someone's at such and such a store getting ready to make this purchase. Are you that person? And I was very impressed. I mean, I was surprised, but I was very pleased to get that phone call. But talk about a connected society. But I can see how this would allow you to do that. I mean, you still will do that, right? If you go to a specific store or something like that, or any suspicious charges, you'll alert the person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's a different situation when, if your card is lost or stolen, it's used without your authorization. There, any debit card or credit card that has a Visa or MasterCard logo, you can get your money back. You are protected as a consumer against unauthorized use of your credit card. So that's the good news. Everybody has that, and they are automatically detecting unauthorized use of your card for that reason. Basically, it's because the bank is on the hook if your card is stolen, and so they're watching for that. The thing that the bank is not protecting you from is unwanted spending or scammy spending, right? So if you say, hey, I just got charged for, $100 worth of, potted plant, Miracle-Gro, and I didn't use my credit card to give you your money back. But if you say, I just got charged for all of these Miracle products on TV, and I don't even want them, they'll say, well, have you thought about returning it? You shouldn't spend your money on things that you don't want. But that's the place where we're able to step in, is if there's that sort of mistake situation, we can help you prevent that mistake before it happens.
Now, you're TrueLink Financial, so you're not really a bank per se. You're a private organization that issues this card, and in cooperation with the Visa, you have some sort of association to them, or
yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you: what kind of fees are associated or charges are associated with getting a TrueLink prepaid Visa card?
We charge a $10 a month fee for the protection service.
Okay, all right, fair enough. That sounds good. $10 a month, and that's the only fee. I mean, there's no charge for the card itself or anything like that. You get.
There are a few other things. There's like if you do a balance check at an international ATM, there are a couple things where there are fees charged to us by Visa or by the international ATM or whatever that we pass on.
Okay.
But 90% of our customers don't see another fee.
Can you take this card and go to a bank ATM and withdraw cash with it, or is that one of the safeguards that you have?
Yes.
You can.
Like I said, so yes, and yes, it is configurable. So you can say, free fire, take out money from an ATM. You can say, let's send a text message if you're at the ATM. You can say, let's limit ATMs to $40, $50. You can say, how about no ATMs, but you can get cash back at the Whole Foods or the Safeway. Or you can say, no ATMs and no cash back. Wow. But you can go into a bank teller and get cash, and you can control those individually.
That's interesting. Now, do you control those by calling up, or is there a website that you can check these little things off? I mean, how do you configure the card?
Either one. You can call and make changes to your settings, but all of those you can do from the website.
I like the fact that you can do it from a website. You get that interaction. That is very nice. I don't think I've ever seen or heard of a card that you can do that. I like that. And now, obviously, if you go to an ATM from a bank, I assume there's an ATM charge for the use of the ATM.
If they charge for an ATM, then yeah, but we don't charge for ATM usage.
Okay, so
let me actually just say you should glance at the fees and charges. It's all disclosed on the website really, really clearly. I don't want to say something and then have to go back and forth.
No, okay.
Because often there are ATM fees from third parties, and those sometimes we do pass on.
Okay, so how does one get a TrueLink prepaid Visa card? How do you apply for it?
Easy as pie. You go to TrueLinkFinancial.com, and it should take less than a minute. Well, less than 5 minutes.
Right. You got okay. And again, if you're listening to the show and you want that link, just go to our homepage at ComputerAmerica.com. Click on our show notes page. You'll see today's show, October the 30th, and you'll see the first hour. TrueLink Financial is here. Kai is with us, and the TrueLink Financial is actually a hyperlink. Just click on it, and it'll actually take you to the TrueLinkFinancial.com website so you can see this for yourself. This might prove to be something that that you're really looking for. If you have senior parents, or you just don't want to take the purse strings away from them completely, but you're looking for a nice balance, so they're comfortable with it, something that you're comfortable with. I think this is an excellent solution to that problem. And again, you can check it out at their website, TrueLinkFinancial.com, or go to our show notes page at ComputerAmerica.com. Kai, before we say good evening, good night to you, is anything else you want to let our listeners know about the card that we might not have said?
Yeah, let me just say one more thing, because I always before saying good night, the thing that I say is that people always feel very ashamed if they've been a victim of fraud, like they did something dumb. Mm-hmm. And actually, about 40% of seniors have been affected by one sort of fraud or another in the last 5 years. It's really an astronomical number, and it happens to almost everyone. Mm-hmm. And so the point is, you should let people know what's going on so that they can protect themselves. Let your friends know. Let your family know. It's not bad, and it doesn't make you dumb.
Okay. Nicely said. All right, Kai. Well, listen, again, thanks so much for being with us here tonight. Again, it's the TrueLink Financial, or the TrueLink prepaid Visa card. You can check it out at the website and see if this is something that's right for you. And look, thanks again for being with us here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
All right. You take care. You have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, there you go. All right, so again, you can see it at the TrueLinkFinancial.com website, and check it out for yourself. You've got some senior parents or senior citizen that that's in your life, and you want to see if you can help, and without being too pushy, and just finding a gentle way to help them out. This certainly might be hold an answer for you. Okay.
Very touchy subject, but I mean.
Yeah.
Technology makes everything better, so I think this is a good solution to not just say you can't be trusted anymore. Instead,
yeah,
they still get freedom.
Yeah, exactly. And don't take the driver's license away. As he said, don't take their financial freedom away. And this might be a good intermediate step for you to do. All right. So that said, I think we're gonna going to do some news stories, unless there's anything else you want to talk about before we get started.
No. I think we'll save that for later. And yeah, I think we're good to go on news stories.
All right. Well, before we do that, let me just mention this.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about our Computer America contest. Specifically, you go to our just go to the Interact menu on the top there, and just says Enter Contest. You'll see all the contests that we have up and running. And one of them is our Logitech contest. We have a new grand prize, the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker. It comes in 4 colors, and you get to pick the color. It's valued at $70. The 3 prizes that we're giving away. And we decided we wanted to make it easier for you to enter this contest. For years, we have said, send us an email and put your name, this and everything, and a lot of people are just having some trouble with that. So what we've done is we've put an official Computer America contest entry form right on the Logitech contest page. It's right there toward the bottom, and you can see it. And there you can put in the information, your name, email address, phone. We even have a place for comments, optional. And that's it. And then you put those in, you click the submit button, and you're done. It's just that simple. And we're getting thousands of entries in, and we certainly appreciate those. And why not? I mean, it's a great way to win some really nice prizes from our friends over at Logitech. So we just changed the entry form. We did one. We did a forum a couple of days ago, and then it turns out there was a problem with that. So we went ahead and changed it to this form, and this form seems to be working correctly. That doesn't mean if you've entered already a couple of days, don't worry about it. We have your entries. It's fine, okay? But now, if you tried to enter the contest and you were having a problem with it, go back and do it again because you'll know that was a problem because it'll tell you, and you will have been told. But so far, we have no reports of that. Everything is working smooth. And,
I would think the errors would be slim to none, and it's a pretty foolproof system.
It is. It is foolproof now. Absolutely. So, so that's our Logitech contest, and of course, we also have our show reminder winner of the week. That's every Friday. That's tomorrow. So Enter in that contest. You just put your first and last name and your email address. Click the blue submit button. It'll send you a confirmation email to which you must reply. You subscribe to our Show Reminder newsletter. We want to make sure that it's a live person, not a bot doing it. And then once you've done that, you're in. Every Friday from that subscriber list of names, we draw a winning name to win a really nice prize from Logitech. In this case, it's the Logitech T650 rechargeable glass touchpad. Very, very nice. About it's $70, and we're going to award one of those tomorrow to some lucky person. Just enter in all of our contests. It's completely free, and it's completely private. We give your contact info out to no one, nobody, unless you're a winner.
Unless they ask for it.
Yeah.
And then we're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Stan from New Brunswick, Mexico? Yeah, sure, whatever. Got it.
No. Only if you're a winner, and then we'll give them your contact info so they can mail you your prize. But that's it. So in all of our contests, you'll have a lot of fun doing so. And who knows, you might win something really, really nice. All right. Okay.
All right.
Well, let's do some news.
That's it.
All right. Tonight's Computer and Technology News is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the slimwareutilities.com website is completely free. There are no freemium models, no crippled versions, none of that. It's completely free. They're the fully functional products, and they're all free at slimwareutilities.com. Just download them all and keep them. Use them when you need them. At least you'll have them when you have a problem. But you should install them and run them. We do that here at the Crossman household. They're very effective. They do speed up, clean, and optimize your Windows system. You'll be very happy that you did it, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. So Ben, you take the first story.
First story. All right, well, this one made the most shockwaves, I think, not just through tech news, but through all news. And this is something I didn't even give thought to.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Apple CEO Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yes.
He's gay.
Okay.
Who knew? So, wow, I actually forgot. All right, no, where's the article? I just had it.
Time Magazine. No.
Tim Cook. Here we go. Tim Cook says he's gay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you think Steve Jobs knew?
Hmm?
You think Steve Jobs knew when he hired him? Didn't make a difference.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tim Cook has been with Apple since like a couple years after they started.
That's true.
I mean, he's been there forever.
All right.
So I'm sure his track record kind of speaks for itself. So on Thursday, Apple Chief Executive Officer Tim Cook confirmed what had long been believed: he's gay. In coming out in Bloomberg Business Week, of all places, Cook wrote, "Of course, I've had good fortune to work at a company that loves creativity and innovation and knows it can only flourish when you embrace people's differences. Not everyone is so lucky." The last statement is accurate, not just because of the prejudice of gays that they face in their personal lives, but because of the lack of protection against discrimination of gay, lesbian, bisexual, and all that good stuff. And it turns out that if he had made this announcement in one of the 29 states, he could have been legally fired for it.
No, really?
Yeah, they would have been completely in their right to fire him for just such a simple statement.
Wow.
Without getting too preachy, too political, all that kind of stuff, he had a quote here saying something along the lines. I don't have the quote in front of me directly, but the quote says something along the lines of, he doesn't see himself as an activist. But he's only there because of the work of many other individuals who actually, came out, protested, and fought for rights of gay individuals. But he feels that if someone out there can say, hey, the CEO of Apple Computers is gay, why can't I be? Then he has, every responsibility to stand up for.
Well, didn't President Obama back in June sign an executive order banning workplace discrimination based on employee sexual orientation and gender identity?
I don't think
he did. He did.
Like he did, but I think states still have laws on the books, and they haven't changed them yet.
But federal laws transcend the state's laws. I mean, if you have a federal law,
According to the American Civil Liberties Unions, in 29 states, workers can still be fired for saying exactly what Tim Cook wrote on Thursday. They include, and they have a list here. Congress has failed to pass federal legislation that bans discrimination in the workplace based on sexual orientation and transgender identity outright. But politicians in Washington have introduced legislation known as the Employment Non-Discrimination Act for 2 decades, and for 2 decades it has failed to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So he signed it, but I mean, if it's not passing, Congress, it ain't passing Congress. So, it's still up to the states to decide. And in 29 of them, he could have been fired. Luckily, California was not one of them, but, has to protect himself. So, 91% of Fortune 500 companies include sex orientation protection. 17 years ago, it was 5%. So, great strides there, and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I honestly didn't see it coming, and I guess really it should be a non-issue. And I think a lot of people see it that way. But yeah, you're going to hear it eventually, so why not here?
I mean, just because Tim Cook is gay, does that mean your iPhone isn't going to work?
Some of the jokes I heard about this.
No,
they're good jokes. Someone mentioned, does that mean that we're going to get the rainbow-colored Apple logo back?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, Steve Jobs actually changed that. He took it out and made it all white, because
he made the Chrome.
No, he made the white Apple and he took out the word
Monotone.
computer.
Yeah.
It used to be Apple Computer. He took the word computer out because they make so many other products besides. But I remember that, and he took the rainbow out of the Apple. So you think they might put the rainbow back?
No, that was a joke.
I know, but still, okay.
Yeah, I think the other one was tomorrow. Samsung also announces they're gay.
Okay.
Just because Samsung likes to follow suit.
I see. They copy everything that Apple does, is what you're saying.
Well, Samsung actually, goes. It's a joke. It's a joke.
It's a joke. Yes, it is.
But so that was the first off-topic, not really a tech story, but why not?
Yeah. No. Exactly. Well. Okay. Okay. So Ben and I are doing computers. I don't know if we have time to do another story. We'd have to.
Well,
a quick
you can start on it.
Okay. I'm not finding a quick story that I can do here. I mean, it's a lot of these are actually require a lot of thought that we're going to be talking about here coming.
Well, if you want a real quick one, here's one. This is Warbler can identify that bird just by hearing a song.
Oh, okay. All right.
So technology can be pretty wonderful sometimes. Case in point, Warbler, an app that uses sound recognition tech and your phone's GPS signal to identify bird songs. The application first pinpoints where you are and narrows the results by what types of fowl are common to the area. Then, after making the ID, it presents the most likely suspects. Pretty simple? Yeah. The folks behind the app say that one of the intentions is to add geo-tracking to, track what species are being found where, useful for the likes of zoologists and ecologists to monitor migration patterns, for one. The accuracy has been around 95% under optimum conditions, so this is obviously not real world, and has even been validated by a Brazilian bird identification organization. And that, as you know, as far as bird identification organizations go, Brazilians take the cake. As of now, the crowdfunding campaign has tallied 4,096 euros, around $7,850 of its 50,000 euros, approximately 80 grand, and aims to launch next spring when the birds start flying again. Buy-in starts at about $25 and goes up from there, and we're guessing that the app won't work for feathered pals of the angry variety. Obviously, a pun on angry birds.
It won't work, but there you go. I mean, I like these things. I've seen more and more apps that come out that use sound and use identification, video identification. I mean, I got that the one that identifies bottles of wine. you know, there are so many out there. Although there's that general one that identifies anything. You can take a picture of anything and it'll identify it. What is that? We actually had them on the show not too long ago, and I can't think of what it is. It's
the which one?
It's the one that identifies you know, everything. You take a picture of anything and it will identify it. It's called.
Oh, we had them on a while ago.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, exactly. I'm blocking the name of it, but anyway, yeah, I'm looking for it on my iPhone, and I'm not finding
But yeah, it seems like the more powerful that the microphones in your phones get.
Camfine. It was called Camfine.
There you go. But it seems like the more powerful the cameras and the microphones get in your iPhones, the more you can do with them, and so it just takes, you know, an individual who wants to track birds with an app called Warbler. And by the way, Warbler, WARBLR. Yeah. There's no E in it. So Warbler, and it's an app in currently Kickstarter. And you know, the better the tech gets, the more you can do with it.
Exactly, it is. It's very, very cool technology. I mean, I have I have identifiers that will identify different species of plants. You know, leaf snap. It'll tell you, you know, if it's on the market and how much they're asking for. I mean, there are so many of these things, these identifying programs. Of course, there's the one that identifies any music you're hearing. It'll identify the music and the song and the lyrics. I mean, we're getting more and more of these identifications.
That's what they were comparing it to. It's like Shazam for birds.
That's right, exactly. Although I don't use Shazam, I use a different one. It's a music identification software. But they are definitely very, very cool. And we're gonna meet. Oh, we have to take a break. All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I are going to come back and continue to do computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we're continuing to do computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And we continue on with this next story. This one's actually from Popular Science. The headline is movie theaters ban. Well, we know they don't ban them, but they tell people to turn off their cell phones, the ringers, and turn them off so we don't get the light, which is distracting. But now movie theaters are banning Google Glass.
Whoa, what? Why?
Sorry, Glass, no popcorn or giant sodas for you, according to this story from Popular Science.
Mary Beth, that stuff was overpriced anyways.
Mary Beth.
Have you been to the movie theater? It's like $7 for a popcorn.
But you realize, movie.
Yeah, they make their money from it. I get it, but hey, start rolling it into the ticket prices.
They won't put it in the ticket prices because they don't get any of that money. They only get the concessions. That's the only way they make money. That's it. So.
Start putting like treadmills on movie seats, and start selling people for power or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Your popcorn's too expensive. I don't want it.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's looking at this article. One of the selling points of Google Glass is its ability to take pictures and videos of anything within your field of vision. But when that field of vision is occupied by the latest major motion picture, your Google Glass now needs to be far, far away in another galaxy. This week, two major movie industry groups, the National Association of Theater Owners, or NATO. It's the same, NATO, NATO, National Association. How do you know if it's NATO that we know, the or the National Association of Theater Owners.
Maybe if you ever get in a situation that the two come up,
yeah,
maybe you should start doing the longhand.
Yeah. Okay. And the Motion Picture Association of America, that's the MPAA, officially banned Google Glass from movie theaters. The MPAA represents major studios in Hollywood, and NATO represents owners of movie theaters, and is a totally different from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Yeah, exactly. Just as you know, for the record. Okay. The statement comes after an event in January when a man wearing Google Glass in a theater was questioned by federal officials for over 3 hours. Good grief! So you go to a movie, you pay your $15 or whatever it is, and you go into a movie, and you had a date or something, and then you get pulled over by federal agents and are grilled for over 3 hours because you're wearing a Google Glass.
I remember that, and a lot of people thought that was weird because, like, what would federal agents be doing at a movie theater when you go to see a movie with Google Glass? I mean, like, when I go see a movie, I don't really tell anyone. Like, I may ask my friends, hey, you want to go? But I mean, like, it's not happening for more than 2 hours to go see that film. And the fact that those federal agents were sitting there waiting for the guy with Google Glass to walk in and see one movie, and then they questioned him for 3 hours. Someone mentioned that was a sting.
Had to be.
Unless
the federal agents were just there to watch the movie. Probably not.
What, the whole squad was in full armor? What? I don't think federal agents are allowed to just pick people up and take them away.
Well, they didn't take them away. They just held them for 3 hours.
They didn't hold them at the movie theater.
Interrogation. It doesn't say if they interrogated him at the movie theater or if they took him away to.
Put him in a chair in a dark, dank room and with a one light bulb swinging from the ceiling, and they hit him, and they're like, "Who do you work for?"
Yeah, who do you work for? You work for Google? What are you doing bringing this glass in?
Pretty much.
Exactly.
That's how I have it playing in my head.
Yeah. Then they waterboarded him, and.
Yeah, that's how it's going.
Definitely. Just for wearing Google Glass, can you imagine if the guy was a terrorist? Yeah, they probably just let him walk.
What?
I don't know. If you go to the movies, the ban means that you have to put your Google Glass away before the movie starts. So at least they don't frisk you to see if you're carrying a Google Glass with you. Anyway, if you don't do that, the theater can ask you to leave. Or call federal agents to grill you for over 3 hours, evidently. As with any recording of movies in theaters, if you're found recording a movie, the movie theater can turn you over to law enforcement. But we're not clear whether this guy who spent 3 hours with federal officials was actually recording. We don't know that. It doesn't say that in the article.
Again, that whole thing happened when Google Glass was first coming out, and people didn't know what it was, and they just assumed that, hey, it can record, it's on your face, you're going to record, and so they grilled him. I mean, it wasn't like he was doing it. It's just Google Glass was new, and he had the capability to do it.
Yeah, he was just showing off the fact that he had Google Glass.
Pretty much.
And Charles Sandell got it. Remember, he wore it everywhere. He wore it to bed. I mean, he wore it everywhere as far as. And then, of course, after the newness war, he kind of phased out of it. But, he used to wear it everywhere. Anyway, this article goes on to say, if you just can't go to a movie without wearing Google Glasses attached to your face, you might have to hunt pretty hard to find a theater not represented by NATO and not showing a film distributed by the MPAA. That's pretty much all of them. I mean, NATO represents 32,000 movie theater screens in the U.S., just in the U.S. alone, and there are only 39,056 in the country as of 2012. And the MPAA represents the 6 major movie studios: Disney, Paramount, Sony, Universal, Warner Brothers, and 20th Century Fox. Theaters are far from the only place where Google Glass is banned, though. Okay. Guantanamo banned Google Glass because it was being used by journalists to record interviews. So you can't wear it in Guantanamo Bay, evidently.
You know, the last time I was there, they were so cordial. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
At Guantanamo.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know.
They said, put away your camcorders, and I'm like, all right, Guantanamo. I'll play along.
How about my GoPro?
Exactly. You know, I took that off my chest. You know, it's
my helmet. You know. Legislators are also starting to introduce legislation banning drivers from using Google Glass while on the road. That's the whole purpose of it. It's a heads-up display so it can give you driving directions. They're trying to legislate everything that's good about this, and they're taking it away. I mean, the whole purpose of this is,
it's supposed to be easy to use, out of the way, but always there.
Yeah, and now they're trying to legislate it so it won't work. I think this is out of control. I think it's become fashionable to try to ban Google Glasses, and legislators are just doing it. Yeah. Now, he says there are plenty of other businesses that have bans on the technology, including restaurants and cafes that are uncomfortable with the idea that it could infringe on their patrons' privacy. I mean, if you go to a restaurant, Ben, are you concerned about your privacy? You know, I mean, if you're concerned about your privacy, don't go to a public place. Don't go to a restaurant. It's a public venue. If you're concerned about that concerned about your public privacy in this day and age of every frippin' smartphone and having cameras on it and tablets and everything, if you're that concerned about it, then just don't go to the public place.
Well, first of all, people should never be afraid to walk out their door because they're going to be filmed. That's paparazzi style, and that's creepy. Oh. Second of all, I don't think me eating a meal at a restaurant makes for good video at any rate. But I mean, like, it's
Are you to the way that you eat, or just you at the restaurant?
I'm rather lackluster. I chew with my mouth closed. I sit straight backed. I don't put my elbows on the table. It's generally not very interesting what I do when I put food in my face.
Okay.
And like, I agree that when you go out in public, you give up all rights to be, to not be filmed because, hey, it's public for a reason. But one should never be afraid to go outside their house and, be videotaped. It's like, yes, you have security tapes and things like that, but for personal enjoyment and things like that.
Look, you every street corner now, you watch Person of Interest, it's true. I mean, every place, they've got cameras everywhere, and you're not going to avoid them. And so, deal with it. If you're that concerned, then, don't go to public restaurants.
No, I hate that you say that. I hate that you say, then don't go out in public. That's not a reasonable solution for anyone. It's not.
Okay.
If they don't like it, I mean, they can take steps to avoid it, not go, keep an eye out, do that kind of thing, but for people to just be ousted from public just because they don't like it, write your congressman. There you go. Don't don't avoid public, but write your congressman.
No, don't write. Go and videotape your congressman. Video.
Go write your congressman. Voice your opinion to someone who can actually do something about it. But I fear that you're going to be in the minority because people are well aware that if you're in public, you're probably being videotaped by someone somewhere.
Somewhere, something, somehow, you're going to be taped. I mean, it's just the society that we live in today. It's all connected, and we're all being recorded, and it's just the way it is. The article goes on to say and finishes, we're talking about the restaurants. It says, it's not exactly startling that the movie industry, which has been fighting surreptitious recording of movies for years, would join the ranks of businesses cracking down on Google Glass. So that's true, because a lot of people will go into a movie theater and they'll have this little video camera hidden away, and they'll sit in the front row and they'll video record the movie and they'll put it up on YouTube. And so you get to see it, but it's obviously lousy quality, and if you're that strapped to that you can't watch this movie the way it was intended to be, I just think And I don't think. First of all, Google Glass doesn't even have the memory ability to download like a 2-hour movie, does it? Or you have to
You
upload
would stream it to somewhere online.
You have to stream it because it doesn't have that much memory to record all of those, like, you know. But again, I'm sorry. In this day and age, if you're in public, you relinquish your rights to privacy as far as being recorded, or, I mean, you cross the street, there are cameras in every corner of most cities today, and it's just a fact of life, you know. That's just the way things are.
And it doesn't have to be, but again, write your congressman, don't avoid public because we like you.
Yeah. Besides, what's your congressman going to do anyway?
We live in America, sir. In
Yeah.
America, we are a democracy. People are the power. The government does not control the people. The people control the government. And if something that the people do not like, then guess what? The government can step in and put a stop to it.
I think, of course, if your congressman is wearing a Google Glass himself, then you're really in trouble. So, you know.
Eh.
Yeah, exactly.
If enough people raise their voice, something's going to happen. That's just the way things are. Yay, democracy.
It gets
Okay,
louder.
next story.
It gets louder. It gets louder. It gets louder. If enough people raise their voice, it gets louder. Go ahead.
Very true. Next story. This one from Ars Technica, and it's a very good question. Why is the new iMac 5K instead of 4K? And it's all about the video.
Baby.
It's not enough just to see 4K content. You have to be able to edit it too. The author, Lee Hutchinson, writes this from his point of view. I originally wanted to devote at least one story to a qualitative analysis of the Retina iMac screen, including a list of physical measurements. However, although I measured like a crazy fiend, my hopes of a constructive analysis were dashed when my expert, Dr. Ray Saniera of DisplayMate,
who's been on the show many times, by the way.
Yes, he's a lovely gentleman.
Yes, he is.
Told him that the data gathered was mostly unusable. Primarily is due to his choice of instruments. Sadly, his Spider 4 Elite just wasn't quite up to the task. And look what you're saying, why it's not. However, he gamely took a look through the results anyway, and the email conversation turned to resolution. Saniera quickly put forward a handy explanation for why Apple chose the 5K resolution of 5120 by 2880 rather than the one of the myriad standard 4K resolutions. There was, of course, a lot of technical reasons to pick 5K over 4K. At double the older 27-inch IMAX resolution, the one Craig uses, at 2560 by 1440, it makes for precisely 4 times as many pixels and easy scaling. But Saniera's explanation was particularly insightful. This monitor is designed for video production, which is the primary reason for buying a 5K display as opposed to a 4K. A 5K display is great when working on 4K content, again 3840 by 2160 or 4096 by 2160, because you can view all of the images at their true native 4K resolution, which is very important, and then have a fair amount of leftover screen space all around it for controls, icons, and even a generous 3.4-inch high text area at the bottom for commands and text input.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice. So, however, it's not all rosy at 5K. In fact, Saniera went on to explain that while 5K is great for creating native 4K content, it's not that ideal for watching it. For viewing 4K content, a native 4K is much better because the image quality is best on the native resolution. Upscaling 4K to 5K inevitably results in some artifacting. In fact, he continues, 4K has 8.3 megapixels, but 5K has 14.7 megapixels. So a 4K only uses 56% of a 5K screen. There is no advantage to having a 5K cinema display. In fact, it wouldn't be quite as good as a native 4K cinema display for viewing 4K content. All things being equal, though, making the IMAX display 5K instead of 4K sounds like the right call. Preserving content fidelity during production is definitely a good reason to not use the standard 4K resolution size.
Yeah, in other words, you need some additional space. If the image is filling your entire screen, then you don't have any workspace or for controls and editing and that type of thing. So now you can have the actual 4K display within on your screen, and and still have all the editing tools to do whatever it is that you want to do. And
yeah, and I think it kind of went along with something I was saying earlier, which was 4K is the next big thing. It's HD, whatever UHD, and then it's jumping to 4K, and then someone came out with like 5K, and then someone came out with like 8K or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think this article really goes to show that yes, 5 is definitely bigger than 4, but it doesn't mean it's better. Just because you have a 5K screen and you're displaying 4K content, the upscaling you're going to get some artifacts in there. It's not going to be as great of a picture as for a device that was designed, created solely around the fact that it will be displaying the exact type of content you're trying to view. So even though you see, you might be out there and you might see a 5K television, for an extra $1,000, it'll be better than any 4K out there. Not always the case.
But
4K, 5K sounds gimmicky, and for content creation, which IMAX are very traditional, used for music creation, video creation.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great editing software. So for iMac, you can see the point.
Yes.
But for traditional televisions, not so much.
Not so much, yeah. And I agree with you. I mean, Apple actually had some interviews with people who do video editing for a living, professional people, and they love the fact that they could display everything, but there was room on the monitor for controls to monitor and adjust whatever they're going to do, gamma, whatever they're playing with. Because if it's the full screen, then they don't have access to those tools, or they would overlay on the image, which you don't want. So obviously that makes a lot of sense. If you're going to watch 4K on it, you can make a 4K window if you want to on it, but
if you watch 4K without any of the upscaling or anything like that, you would get, of course, the black bars.
That's right. You get the black bars, which is fine. I mean, let's face it. The artifacting that he's talking. I mean, I know Dr. Ray Scenario. He's on the show, and he's a terrific guest, and he certainly knows his stuff. He really does. But the artifacts we're talking about are so infinitesimally small. And especially on video, you're watching a movie. I'm sorry, you're just not gonna, unless you're magnifying something in the area, you're not gonna see it. You're just not gonna see it. You're not gonna see it. It's too small.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
And I've seen some of the televisions out there, that are 4K, OLED, ultra high definition, things like that. The smoother they get, the more noticeable glitching is. And that includes artifacts from upscaling.
Yeah.
When things are moving just so smooth, it looks like real life, and then you start seeing some, like around like someone's coat, where it's like a stark contrast, and you start seeing, some of the artifacts. You're gonna notice that just as easily, as before. Because it's so smooth.
I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree. I say that they're too small. You would not notice, especially on a moving image. You're just not going to see it. It's too tiny. Unless your nose is pressed up against.
And I think it's so smooth it would catch your eye even faster.
No, I don't think so. But hey, when I get
I think we've gotten to the point in the argument where it's no, it's not, and I say yes, it is, and you say nuh-uh, and I say uh-huh.
Well, when I get my 5K iMac, then we can look at it and you can judge for yourself.
Yes, quite.
Okay.
And we'll compare it to my 720p monitor, and we'll see who's really stacks up better.
Okay, exactly. See that? 3 tips for a smoother Apple Pay experience. That's right.
Lots of Apple tonight.
Yeah, there is. Apple Pay is already easy enough to use, but with a few tips, you can tailor the experience to fit your needs. So, if you've already tried this or you're having a bad experience, well, here's 5 things you can do. Now, Apple Pay is arguably the most straightforward mobile payment solution that CNET has seen thus far. That's saying something. Tim Cook announced it has seen over 1 million users activate a card on the service in the first 72 hours. Whew. More than the number of users who signed up for all similar services combined. Apple has that power. Yet, with its ease of use and simplistic approach, there are a few tips and settings you should know about. We thought we would tell you about them here at Computer America. So, first, you go about selecting a card at checkout. There are 2 ways to pay with Apple Pay at an NFC terminal. The first is to tap your phone to the terminal with your finger on the Touch ID button. Leaving your finger in place causes your default card to be used to process the payment. Okay? That's the first method. The second method allows you to tap your phone to the terminal without your finger on the Touch ID button, which brings up a list of the cards you've added to your Apple Pay account. You can then select the card you want to use for the transaction, place your finger on the Touch ID button, and complete your purchase. So those are the 2 things. Basically, tap it with your finger on the Touch ID button, and it goes to the default card. Tap it with your finger off the Touch ID button, and a list of cards come up for you to choose. Okay. Now, Apple Pay isn't just a form of payment within physical retail stores. Developers can add Apple Pay to iOS apps, making it possible to order a ride through Uber or a new case for your iPad Air 2 in the Apple Store using your fingerprint. Okay. Now, they're saying one of the other things you need to do is disable the alerts. So some service providers offer instantaneous alerts when an Apple Pay transaction goes through. Though for those who don't want to receive an alert for each transaction, they can be a tad annoying. And it's basically they tell you how to disable alerts on a card-by-card basis, and they go through the process there. Okay. So that's basically it. To smooth those 3 tips, how to do that. Selecting card at checkout, transaction details, and disabling alerts. And you'll have a smoother Apple Pay. And once you do that, that's it. Then you'll just have a smoother Apple Pay experience. I have not had an Apple Pay experience yet because I still don't have an iPhone 6, which hopefully in the next few weeks I'll get one along with my iMac. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it. Yes.
Apple Pay. I mean, I hope it catches on because near field communication payment system is, where people are now comfortable sliding a card. I think waving one in front of waving a phone in front of a machine is even easier and just about the same.
You don't even wave it; you just tap it. You just
tap it. Near field communication just has to be in the general vicinity. So
exactly. All right.
Better than my idea of barcodes and tattoos on your wrist. So.
The movies try to, tell the future that we're all gonna have barcodes on our wrists. I don't think that ever will ever come to fruition. However, we'll all have smart devices that will.
There was that one that tried to sell time.
Yeah.
So you pay for a cup of coffee and you pay 5 minutes and then it reduce it from your total time left.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as your time hits 0, you die. Yay, movies.
I remember that movie. That was with Justin Timberlake. And
yes, it was.
It was on his arm, and there would be a digital display, and there was no more money. You had time because the people were immortal. That was it. And basically, unless you kept adding time to your arm, and it went to 0, you died. That was the end of your life. So it behooved you to do whatever you could to keep that time up. Obviously, they were super rich, had time to spare, and they were hundreds.
Yeah, and then he wake up with 100 million years or something like that.
That was toward the end of it. Yeah, they became time robbers, and so it would.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Oh yeah, the other big news.
Mhm.
No, well, one of the bigger news stories of the day, and that is Lenovo. They make computers.
Yes, they do. Nice one.
Lenovo purchases Motorola. Motorola from Google for $2.91 billion.
Wow, that's expensive.
Yep, the deal's gone through. So back in January, it was announced that Google would be selling its Motorola division to Lenovo, pending approval from authorities. Google, which had acquired the mobile company for $12.5 billion in 2012, was looking to sell it, and now that all parties involved have signed off on the deal, Lenovo acquires Motorola for $2.91 billion.
Wait.
One of the best terms of investment.
Wait, so Google spent $12.5 billion and they sold it for $2.91 billion. They take a loss of almost $9 billion they lost?
Maybe. Let's see what they actually say about what the patents are, because when they purchased them, the patents are what made the company worth $12.5 billion. So of the $2.91 billion, $660 million will be in cash. I'm assuming in a large briefcase that will be handed off in a dark alley or in some kind of parking garage. While 519,107,215 of newly issued ordinary shares of Lenovo stock was transferred to Google at the close of the transaction. As of the remaining 1.5, that will be paid to Google in the form of a 3-year promissory note. As in, we promissory to give it to you.
Yes.
However, a separate cash compensation of $228 million will also be paid to Google to cover the cash and working capital held by Motorola at the time when the deal closed. So, it's think Monopoly whenever you make a trade. Like Monopoly the board game, not like Monopoly like legislatively. According to the deal, however, Google will maintain ownership of most of Motorola's patent portfolio, though Motorola will be given a license to the patents and other IPs in it. However, Motorola will retain 2,000 patent assets in addition to a number of patent cross-license agreements and Motorola brand.
Okay.
That's it exactly. So we will continue with the story, but the patents are where it's at.
All right. And also, Computer America is where it's at. You listen to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Another News Tips Bullet review from Marty Winston coming up. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hello, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This one might step a little bit on the spooky side because it's about a brand new LED pen light that shines in ultraviolet, the new Nightstick MTU 106. Street price, $23. 2 AAA cells power it for about 45 minutes. Now, here's why a UV light is fine. Fine, fun, frightening, all of that. Biologicals fluoresce, meaning if you go into a restroom and shine it at the sink or other facilities, the glow that you get back might scare you more than a little. If you go to a hotel room, to a restaurant, looking even at the menus, the glassware, the silverware, anywhere where the lights are dim, this light can make germs glow, microorganisms glow. And you know what? It's all pretty normal. We don't recommend that you use it to grade your host or hostess or your spouse, certainly not your spouse. But we do think that this kind of facility in your pocket is a really, really cool way to double check yourself. When you clean the sink, did you get it clean? When you're cleaning your cooking or food prep area, if you didn't get it clean, dim the overhead lights, bring out this pen light, and the places you missed will shine and glow right back at you. You'll find other reasons too. It's a little bit of that CSI effect with the MTU 106 ultraviolet LED pen light from Nightstick. Bottom line, it glows fantastically. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Ben. I guess we lost Ben. Welcome back to the Computer America Show, 33 minutes after the hour, and there he is. Okay. He's trying to come through. There he is. He comes joining there. Okay.
There we go. Google Hangouts, fickle mistress. You ever do the whole welcome back thing?
Yeah. No, I just started. I was waiting for you, and then I said, "Oh, well," and then you were just kind of like this, frozen.
Yeah, it froze. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. We're doing computer technology news, brought to you by Slimmer Utilities. And sorry about that. Hangouts likes to work when it wants to work.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, we're doing computer technology news, and we were just talking about this new how Lenovo was had just purchased Motorola from Google for $3 billion.
2.91. Yes, exactly.
2.9. Oh, well, really, you're gonna get me on the 90 million?
Yeah, pocket change, right? Exactly.
Pocket change. These companies, they might as well be passing back and forth a baseball. Okay. So, anyways, Lenovo. With Motorola under its umbrella, Lenovo has high expectations, according to Lenovo Executive Vice President Liu Jun, who said, "With the complementary strengths of our two companies, blah blah blah, we are strong." The acquisition of Motorola makes Lenovo the third largest maker of smartphones, which will now have access to Moto X, Moto G, and Droid series of smartphones. And by the way, the Droids, a lot of people like those. So I mean, it's not like they're getting a hot potato and everyone's looking to drop it. Motorola is actually pretty hot stuff right now. Yeah. But again, the big thing here is, Craig, you were mentioning that they bought it for 12.5 and they're selling it for 2.91. So, did Google just make a mistake by spending $10 billion in 2 years? Mm-hmm. And it turns out, no, Google is actually going to keep their grubby mitts on most of those patents.
Okay, and that was the real value of Motorola anyway. That's why Google bought them in the first place, was for their patents.
Yep. So Google still gets to keep the ownership of most of Motorola's patents, whereas they get to keep most of them. I'm sure they went through and picked out which ones they want, and then said, "Okay, Lenovo, you can have these 2,000 other patents, and you can use the rest. But for now, Google still owns the majority of what made Motorola. Hence the $10 billion drop in price."
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm sure in the business world this all made sense, even though at face value, buying something for $12 billion and selling it for $3 billion doesn't make sense. I'm sure it did.
Okay. All right. Well, smart move.
Yep.
Smart move by.
Yeah, poor Motorola. It's getting passed around. It seems like it finds a home in Google, and then Google says, "All right, we took your patents. You can go away now." And yeah, it's just getting passed around. Poor little guy.
Okay. All right. Well,
Maybe eventually, when Motorola doesn't have any more patents to, you know, when enough companies have passed Motorola around and have taken claims to their patents, maybe then Motorola will be disbanded. But as of right now, they're still sitting on a pretty good hoard of patents, so you know they're still a company.
okay.
Although I don't have high hopes for. Why do you keep saying well, okay?
Because I'm just I know you when we have a conversation, you don't do the you know, that let people know that you're there.
I know, but like you're saying it in the tones like, okay, let's move on.
Well, I think we've pretty much covered the story. I think
so I'm not wrong.
I think we already covered the story.
You don't? Do you think Motorola has any chance of making it out of this whole getting passed around alive?
No, I think that's it. I think they're done for.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're done for.
Because they still have, I mean, you know, like the article said, they still have 3 phones that are, you know, pretty successful.
Yeah.
The Droid is, you know, is a fan favorite. I mean, they still have assets.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
They do, but I don't think it's enough to sustain the company, at least in the fashion to which it's become, you know, accustomed to.
Motorola was no, I'm thinking of IBM.
Yes, you are.
No. Who makes BlackBerry?
BlackBerry makes BlackBerry.
No, BlackBerry was made, I think, by like Motorola, and like Motorola split into like their commercial business and their consumer business, and then the Motorola. Whatever. Okay. All right, fine. Move on.
I want to talk about this Kaleidoscape Cinema One. This is from Wired. You know, the author of this article talks about. He says, "I still have fond memories of my bajillion disc DVD player back in the early 2000s. We actually had one of those too. You know, where you know, it's like on a little rotisserie kind of thing. You put maybe 100 DVDs or CDs into it, and then it would just spin around and it would pull the one out and and play it. I had a 5 changer. You know, Sony had one that was a 5 CD.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, and basically he said, you know, switching between Go and Fight Club without getting off the sofa was very impressive. You know, now we have fancy movie servers from luxury AV companies like Kaleidoscape. Instead of switching between discs, the swanky Cinema One rips pristine copies of your Blu-rays and DVDs and plays them from its own 4 terabyte hard drive. Yeah, but wait a minute. Does it do it? It can't. Does it do that with commercial discs? I don't think it can. I think commercial discs.
You think commercial discs have digital rights management on them?
Yeah, they have DRM, and I think you can do it with your own, but I don't think you can take a commercially available. Let's see what the article says. It says the Cinema One's local playback also happens to trim a lot of fat. Movies play with no disc menu, no trailers, no FBI warnings, and no awkward propaganda. So evidently it does. He says it's a great solution, at least in theory, for anyone who wants fast, easy, picture-perfect access to their aging disc collection. Of course, there's a pretty massive catch. He says, but I'll get to that in a moment. At almost $4,000, Kaleidoscape was smart to sidestep the cheap little black box look of most movie servers. It's a little heavy at 10 pounds, but the angular metal chassis, smooth white face, and recessed single disc slot drive gives it a living room friendly look. The few people who noticed it next to my TV mistook it for a fancy TiVo, which is a passing grade in my book. This is the author. The remainder.
Who takes the weight of this thing and says 10 pounds? How hefty?
Yeah.
I mean, are you carrying this thing around?
No, it's on your
exactly. So I don't see how weight would be a factor.
Well, if you try to balance it on something else underneath it, there could be a problem, maybe.
I guess.
The remainder of the rear panel delivers exactly what you expect from a modern movie server: single HDMI, analog, coax, and Ethernet ports. Boot up is relatively fast, under 10 seconds in most cases. The Cinnamon One's 4 terabyte of space can hold about 100 Blu-rays or 600 DVDs total. So there was plenty of stuff to watch on my review unit. The default menu, a colorful animated mosaic of movie cover art, is incredibly easy to navigate with the Cinnamon One's no-frills remote. You can search via alphabetical list too, thanks to the exhaustive metadata Kaleidoscape sources on the back end, though the user interface felt a little sparse at times. No extraneous TV apps here. It never felt bare or unpolished. The Cinnamon One's display performance is, in a word, awesome. Pressing play on The Dark Knight Returns immediately dimmed the screen to black. After a beat of silence, the opening title cards faded in along with the overwrought Hans Zimmer score. It was like I pressed play on a Blu-ray, wandering off during the pre-roll filler, and sat back down right at the feature start. Even better, everything I played on the Cinnamon One started in the same seamless fashion. Now, the secret to this isn't exactly Hollywood magic. Since the unit rips the entire disc to the hard drive, all it's really doing is playing back a local version of the same pristine 1080p video file found on the disc, only with modified start-stop cues. This approach lends this powerful movie server other fringe benefits too, like the ability to access special features and alternate audio tracks without messing with a disc menu. While this didn't necessarily add anything to my disc library, it definitely took a lot away, namely all the tedious crap that makes dealing with discs a pain in the first place. Despite near flawless playback and performance, the discless utopia of the Cinema One is only half realized. Remember the huge catch we said at the beginning? Selling a device that copies and stores Blu-ray movies for playback is currently a little iffy, legally speaking. There we go, okay? The digital rights management. To stay out of hot water, the Cinnamon One requires users to keep a physical copy of the Blu-ray in the player to allow playback of a ripped file. Now, this isn't a huge problem if you've already sprung for Kaleidoscape's 320 disc vault, which is another $4,000. But for us mere mortals, that's a steep price to pay for well-appointed convenience. So basically, if you want to play a movie, you got to get up and insert the disc into the slot, which I think kind of defeats the whole purpose of this thing, don't you?
Yeah, kind of.
Another option is buying digital copies of your movie straight from Kaleidoscape's middle digital movie storefront, thus bypassing disc restrictions altogether. But that option should only appeal to die-hard Kaleidoscape users. Fortunately, old-school DVDs don't fall under the same restrictions. You can still rip off that Fight Club disc and replay it disc-free as much as you want on the Cinema One. As a whole, it's hard to deny the appeal of the Cinema One. While when it's running at full tilt, it's easy to hop from film to film with hardly a pause. Seamless action like this was practically unthinkable in the bajillion disc changer days, and paired with its admittedly cool interface, it's clear that the Cinema One is a step forward technologically. Unfortunately, with its hefty price tag and current licensing limitations, it also manages to take 2 steps back. He says, I am Jack's complete lack of surprise. So basically, I mean, it's a nice unit, but
at $4,000 and 10 pounds, I think not.
Well, if you have money to burn, why not? Otherwise, you're gonna have to insert.
If you have CDs to burn.
Yeah, if you have, or DVDs or Blu-rays to burn. Yeah, exactly. Is this something you would buy for your movie theater setup, Ben?
Nope.
Okay, there you go.
Because I stream all my content. Everything's already digital. Why?
I think this is for people who have the Blu-ray collection and they're looking to consolidate it.
I guess Joel would need this.
Oh, big, huge. Yes, he would. And he still wouldn't be able to fit all his discs on there because 100 discs is like nothing to what he has. He must have thousands of discs. Thousands.
Hey, some people have hobbies, and sometimes they're disc.
Yeah.
Laserdisc. Okay, how about we do this one?
Well, wait a minute. Why don't you do the one from AT&T? Because we did that a few weeks ago. A couple of days ago. Unlimited AT&T, the Tech News World. Oh, maybe. Okay, you don't have to do that.
Which is that? Oh, here it is. Yeah, AT&T, we told our customers unlimited doesn't mean unlimited. Kind of long, but we'll breeze right through it. So, instead of renaming its unlimited data plan something more accurate, AT&T just decided to start throttling its unlimited customers. In its defense, it claimed it informed them of the change through bill notices, a press release, and text messages. That wasn't good enough, according to the FTC, which is suing for substantial monetary relief and a better plan description. So the Federal Trade Commission on Tuesday filed a complaint in California against AT&T seeking compensation.
We reported on this, on Tuesday.
Yes, for for customers who were told they had unlimited data plans, but in reality did not. The legal action stemmed from a practice AT&T began in 2011 of throttling data delivery to customers with unlimited data plans when their data usage reached a specific amount during a billing period. At times, data speeds were choked when users had consumed as little as 2 gigs of data. That's not even like bottom tier plan nowadays.
No, not at all.
But of course, this was back in 2011, so they didn't exactly have 4G LTE and all that kind of thing. Oh, awesome. Now I remember why I don't remember doing this, because I wasn't here Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Maybe that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. So the throttling program has been more severe, often resulting in speed reductions of 80 to 90% for effective users. Since its inception, they have throttled at least 3.5 million unique customers, a total of 25 million times. What would make you more mad than signing onto your phone, consuming data, and all of a sudden your phone is going 10% of what it should be?
Yeah.
That would be infuriating.
That's what happened. Yeah.
So, that's not all the FTC is trying to do with its legal action. Quote, we're also seeking substantial monetary relief against the company, which would be in the form of a redress to customers who had been throttled. So, if you aren't getting what you're paying for, why should you have to pay for it? They're trying to get money back for the customers. They say that they have plenty of notice. AT&T has been open with its customers about the limits on its unlimited data plans. The company insisted. In addition, we informed all unlimited data plan customers via bill notices and a national press release that resulted in nearly 2,000 news stories well before the program was implemented. And I remember actually doing some of these.
Yeah.
Back in 2011 when they released these, and actually making the same joke we're making nowadays, saying it's unlimited until you hit the cap and then we're limiting it. But I guess, not everyone pays attention to the news, not everyone pays attention to the media, and when you walk into a store and you purchase a plan that says unlimited, you're not exactly going around looking for updates, you're going about and living your life. So, mushy terminology. One customer who denied that he received adequate warning about the throttling practices is the CEO and founder of the Sephirim Group, and he said, quote, I got so frustrated with my unlimited plan that I wound up moving to one of the other plans. I moved off unlimited because it was costing me too much money and it was frustrating. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, was the point. AT&T no longer offered unlimited to anyone, so they wanted to make it infuriating. They wanted to make it hard to use. They wanted to make you throttle it so that you would move over to, the 5 gig plan, the 10 gig plan, one of the other tiered systems. That was their goal. So much of the confusion about the mobile plans can be traced to slippery terminology. There isn't even an industry insider who can reliably say that a particular term means a particular thing and is delivered in a particular way, because it's so inconsistent across all operators, which is very true. It's kind of like who's on first. And I think the FTC is saying enough is enough, and if you say unlimited, it needs to be unlimited. So, and they have some of the inconsistencies in the fine print of the actual contract because, everyone reads those, just like everyone reads the terms of service. But, I mean, I think the FTC, if they're going to put their foot down, I think this is a good place to help consumers and put their foot down because you do get fine print, you get small print, you get terminology that doesn't always mean what you think it means, and if people are going to say unlimited, it has to mean unlimited.
I agree with you completely.
Just like if someone says guaranteed 4G LTE, and then at the very bottom of the screen they put in very small text, unless you don't live in a place that has those, and then you're just going to get normal 3G speeds. I mean, there's so many ways and so many kind of weird ways to say great things that the AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, what have you, can get away with pretty much selling you the best thing ever, and it's still being subpar.
Mm-hmm.
So good on the FTC for actually enforcing some of these putting some oomph in them taking back their unlimited plan.
Well, Google Hangouts is doing this thing again, and I just upgraded the plugin, and it's still making this little noise now. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. So
you can barely hear it. Don't worry about it.
I won't worry about it. Okay. It's just annoying. So basically, so is AT&T off the hook or not?
AT&T, the FTC, I'm not sure how fast the FTC gets to sue people and how fast it gets through the court system, but they are indeed being sued by the FTC, and it will be for monetary amounts. So they're being sued for money because, hey, if you're paying for unlimited but you're only getting 2 gigs, guess what? You're kind of not getting what you're paying for. So AT&T has to pay up.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I think like the backlash from AT&T for all this, I think in the immediate sense, it would have been a lot worse if they said, okay, folks, unlimited's not working for anyone. We're taking everyone off the plan. We're going to put you on a higher tier plan at a lower rate, but no more unlimited for anyone. Instead, they did the surreptitious, the sneaky thing, and they said, okay, still unlimited, but if you use more than 5 gigs, we're going to throttle you all to crap until you don't want to use it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's just the noise. Don't worry about it.
No, I know. I think that's right, because you didn't do the story because I think Aaron was here at the time, and so but we've anyway, it was a good follow-up.
It seemed like a story Aaron would like to do. Aaron's a bit more on the
confrontational side.
Yeah. The more newsy articles, whereas myself, I like the story about Amazon and how they're giving away $115 in free apps.
Oh,
in the Amazon App Store.
Now, how is that happening?
Well, they're giving away $115 in paid apps. And, again, this is for Amazon and Amazon-related hardware because it is only available in the Amazon Marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
But you get some great titles, including World of Goo, Plants vs. Zombies, great.
Oh, yeah.
Plex, Zombie Gunship, Visible Body. Mm-hmm. Everything kind of in the mood of Halloween. And the offer is good through November 1st, so if you're already a member of, the Amazon ecosystem and you have access to the Amazon App Store, feel free to go ahead and download $115 worth of free apps.
Very nice. Very nice.
And again, the offer ends November 1st. So, why not?
You have to join Amazon Prime to get it then? Is that what you're saying? Or
Well, if you have an Amazon phone or if you have an Amazon tablet, it comes with a service already to Amazon Prime.
Got it.
So,
okay.
Just by you having those devices, you already have Amazon Prime.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. Do we have time for one more story, or are we pretty much out of...
No, I think we have time for one more story.
Okay. Well, I'm looking for a short one, and I can't find it. All of them are the kind that you want to sink your teeth in and really... All
right. Well, I got a quick one.
Yeah.
This one is about your ears. So loud sound will eventually damage your hearing, so turn the volume down is a smart idea. And I know kids of my generation and the generation below me, we have these earbuds that beam music directly into your brain, and it gets loud.
Yeah.
You can get that volume really up there, and kids tend to listen to them extremely loud. And I think there was a study a couple years ago saying that kids are already seeing a reduction in hearing, at ages of like 18, 19, 20, just because they've been listening to loud headphones for 5-6 years. It can be bad. So, give it a try, turn the volume down a little, and once you get used to listening quietly, turn it down a little more. Granted, quiet listening works best in quiet places. In noisy environments, stick with in-ear, closed-back, and noise-canceling headphones. Avoid earbuds and open-back headphones. They don't hush external noises, so you don't have to play music a lot louder than you might realize. If you have to listen to noisy places while commuting, consider buying in-ear or closed-back full-size headphones to seal out the noise. The author finds with the better sounding in-ear and closed-back headphones, he can listen to music at a much lower volume than it feels like with the other devices. All in all, it's a quick article saying that if you're one of the people that, when you take the earbuds out of your ears and the person standing 10 feet away from you can hear what you're listening to,
that's loud.
you should not be listening to it. I mean, I used to work in a place where you had to wear earplugs because a loud, continuous noise, it's not the sharp noises that get you, it's the continuous wearing down of the inner ear, whatever makes you hear. That will damage your hearing in the long run.
Yes,
and headphones are very, very capable of doing that. So
90 seconds.
Try to listen as quietly as possible.
There you go.
To save your own hearing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, all these long-term effects, from staying out of the sun, and don't listen to loud music, all these things are certainly
I know, they're trying to take the fun out of everything.
I know. Hey, coming up tomorrow night, both hours. It's the last Friday of the month, and of course Halloween. Michael Miller is going to be joining us. He's always with the last Friday of the month. Mike Miller is an author of over 150 books.
Seconds.
And he's one of our Computer America correspondents who appears there, again, every last Friday of the month. So thank you so much for listening, and we appreciate you being here. And we're going to have a show reminder winner of the week tomorrow night, Friday. So make sure that you have your entry in. Just go to our contest page at Computer America if you're not already registered. And get your entry in. So who knows? It might be your name we're calling tomorrow night to get that T650 touchpad from Logitech. Glass touchpad. Beautiful. Valid at $70. So again, that about wraps it up, and we will see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. Have a great evening, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, and thanks again for everybody watching the show tonight. And Ben and I will see you tomorrow night.
You might want to work on that clock.
Yeah, it corrected itself. It's correct now. It's in sync with the blog.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Good night. And I got to figure out why this thing is dinging. Let me see.
All right.
Wait a minute. Let me just see. It says this app. When I speak, it goes ding. No, it doesn't do it every time. You say something. It'll make it.
Hi. Hello.
This app is using features from a newer version of the Google Talk plugin. Well, that's the Google Talk. So I'm not going to tell you what that is. Anyway, good night, everybody.
Good night.